The more hair you have, the more hair you shed. That's what my doctor told me. And when I say doctor, I mean hairdresser. Today I'm making a Chick-fil-A inspired pan pizza. Delicious chicken, never frozen, Chick-fil-A sauce, lots of pickles, and waffle fries. I'm doing all of that, minus the waffle fries, in a pizza. First thing I gotta do is make the pizza dough. And as you guys know, 115°F water will activate the yeast. Anything higher will kill it. And I'm not about mass murdering yeast. All right, so here we go. I'm not messing around. I realized the other day that my induction burner sounds like it's a spaceship lifting off. 115, it's at 125, it's around 120 to 125. Either way, I need to bring it back down. So we're just gonna let that chill. Bring in my boy Stanley mixer and mix our dry ingredients. I'm using bread flour. What is bread flour? That's a great question that nobody asked. The main difference between bread flour and all-purpose flour is a matter of protein. Bread flour, which comes in white or whole wheat varieties, has a higher protein content than all-purpose flour, usually 11 to 13%. That's why it's called bread flour, because most bread requires higher amounts of protein to produce more gluten. This is not gluten-free, it's gluten-spree. It's a terrible joke. Add the water to the yeast, then add some sugar. Just mix up this yeast with this sugar, let it activate. How does anybody know when the yeast is ready? Well, it becomes frothy, foamy. It looks different than it does just cloudy water. All right, so I'm adding the flour. We're gonna add some salt to the flour. This is ultimate laziness. Could've just mixed it by hand. Why would I do that when we got a good old Stanley mixer over here? I'm just gonna add this to the bowl of flour and salt and add a little bit of olive oil as well. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Dough is pulling from the sides, creating a ball. I'm gonna take this dough out, okay? We gotta knead this a little bit and then place it aside so that it can rise, okay? The dough rising. It's like the Dark Knight.
I'm Batman.
Just knead this dough out a little bit on a floured surface. This goes on the Lloyd's pan, but not before adding some olive oil to the pan. And now it just goes directly into the pan. I'm gonna cover it with some saran wrap and place it next to the oven so that it can proof and rise. Next thing I'm doing, okay, is marinating the chicken. I'm using a seasoned buttermilk, and I'm gonna add some pickle juice to the buttermilk just to tenderize it even more. Just so you guys know, and I've said this many times, there's no actual butter in buttermilk. But then again, butter's made out of milk, so does that even make any sense? To this buttermilk, I'm gonna add some granulated onion, some granulated garlic, sort of. Some smoked paprika, and add some S&P. Now this is the takeaway here, okay? We're adding some dill pickle juice. I don't know if Chick-fil-A does that or not. I don't care. It's a good way to add extra flavor and a good way to tenderize the chicken so that it retains that juice and moisture after we fry it. Add some chopped up chicken breast. Now I'm using chicken tenders. I've cut them into little bite-sized pieces. Now you really want to marinate these overnight. I'm probably only going to do about an hour just for the sake of this video. All right, now I'm just gonna put this in the fridge until we're ready to dredge and deep fry. And now we're gonna get on making the pizza sauce. As you know, there's no anything tomato-based at Chick-fil-A. But then I remembered they also don't have pizza, so do whatever you want. Right here is a can of diced tomatoes with garlic. I don't wanna call it a hack. It's more of a path of least resistance to deliciousness. I'm not actually trying to cook the sauce. I'm just trying to get it to some heat so that it can science with the herbs. A little bit of Italian seasoning. Run that through. Nope. Now, if you've ever done this before, you know it already starts smelling like pizza. We're on a good track. All right, like I said, just bringing this up to heat. Don't want to cook it too much. I'm putting it in a little food processor. Gonna make it smooth, set it aside until we're ready to build the pizza. That's it. That's all you need to do. You season a can of tomatoes, you call it a day. Let's make some Chick-fil-A sauce. We got a little bit of mayonnaise, We're gonna add a little bit of mustard, some barbecue sauce, and some honey. A little salt action. I was wondering if a recipe calls for a pinch of salt, but like you have really big hands, then your pinch is gonna be bigger than my pinch. Now mini whisk this bad boy. Oh man, it looks exactly like Chick-fil-A sauce. Step one, success. But does it taste like Chick-fil-A sauce? Perfect. Let's fry some chicken. Potato starch and rice flour. I'm using the same seasoning I did for the wet batter, the same seasoning that I added to the buttermilk with the chicken, garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, smoked paprika, and salt and pepper. A couple key things to know about deep frying if you don't already know. Wet hand, dry hand, cool hand. What? You want to keep one hand wet and one hand dry, because then what happens is your fingers end up looking like a chicken tender and maybe you deep fry it. If you keep one hand wet and one hand dry, you'll never run into that problem. We're doing a double dredge situation, okay? But in order to contain the integrity of each dredging station, I'm gonna dredge all the chicken once, place it on this tray, and then repeat the process. Also, you wanna probably do this in batches. Don't be like me the other day and try and add all the chicken at once, because then what happens is that it all sticks together and ends up just becoming one big ball of fried chicken, which in theory sounds great. In practice, less great. Now, why do we double dredge? We double dredge so we can get back up again. That's another Batman reference. I'm Batman. We double dredge so that we can guarantee the crispiness. What's fried chicken without the crispy goodness? Roasted chicken. Fried chicken is dredged, it's double dredged. The oil is heating up to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna drop these in there for 5 minutes. Potato starch and rice flour will give you the utmost best crispy, crunchy fried chicken. Trust me. Obviously, I'm not using all this chicken for one pizza, but if there's one rule you need to follow when making fried chicken is always, always make more fried chicken. This looks incredible. As soon as they come out, you want to place them on a wire rack and hit them with some salt. You hear that crunch? You hear that little scrape action? Hell yeah. All right, let's do the crunch test. You ready for this? It's gonna be hot, but I'm doing it for the crunch culture. I don't even think Chick-fil-A is this crunchy. Yeah, pizza, we're done. Thanks for watching. Just kidding. All right, I'm happy with the chicken. The dough has risen. It's time to build this pizza and throw it in the oven. So we got all of our things. We have our pizza dough, which is ready to be stretched out. Monterey Jack cheese, which is my pan pizza cheese of choice. We have our homemade DIY path of least resistance pizza sauce. Obviously this fried chicken, which if I don't make this pizza soon, it's not gonna exist anymore because it's that good. And just for that anatomically correct Chick-fil-A flavor profile, some dill pickle chips, which I'm gonna put on top of this pizza. Stupid me, I didn't grease the plastic, so a little bit of pizza dough spillage is upon us. It is what it is. So all I'm gonna do is use my fingers to sort of push the dough to the edges. Maybe I'm just gonna stretch it. Yeah, that's how they do it. They stretch it like that. Good to go. It's stretched as much as it's gonna stretch. Now I'm gonna add some pizza sauce. Now I'm gonna add Monterey Jack cheese. So I'm not gonna be afraid to add cheese all the way to the edges. Check this out. Cheese, edge to edge, dough, edge to edge. Now here's the deal. We're gonna preliminarily cook this pizza before adding the chicken and the pickles on top of it. And the reason I'm doing that is it's gonna take longer for the dough, the cheese, and the sauce to cook than it is the chicken and or the pickles. Pizza's been in there for 10 minutes. I'm gonna dress it with the fried chicken and the pickles and then put it back in for another 3. Then we're gonna take it out and dress it with the Chick-fil-A sauce. All right, alternating between a piece of chicken and a pickle. It's all about math, guys. This thing looks ridiculous as is. Gonna pop it back in the oven for another 3 minutes, And then we're gonna eat it. And when I say we, I mean me. I gotta say, this pizza, it already looks incredible. Look at that. Color contrast, the smell. I'll let this cool, release it from the tray, and then douse it in this homemade Chick-fil-A sauce. I did it again. We have a Chick-fil-A inspired pan pizza. I'm just really excited to bite into this. So without further ado, I'm gonna do that. Wow. It's like I'm eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich in one hand and a piece of pizza in the other hand, except none of that. And all of it in a one hand glorious bite like this. I really hope you guys like this video. Leave a comment down below, hit that sub button, turn on notifications if you want to see glorious food creations like this every single week.